Hello guys, welcome to the most exciting flag quiz. You will have 50 flags to guess in 5 seconds each, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's go! It's one and only India. It's one and only Pakistan. It's one and only Nepal. It's one and only Iraq. It's one and only Palestine. It's one and only Indonesia. It's one and only Turkmenistan. It's one and only Bangladesh. It's one and only Vietnam. It's one and only South Korea. It's one and only Malaysia. It's one and only Thailand. It's one and only Israel. It's one and only Georgia. It's one and only Armenia. It's one and only Turkey. It's one and only Kazakhstan. It's one and only Japan. It's one and only Taiwan. It's one and only Hong Kong. It's one and only Laos. It's one and only Cambodia. It's one and only Sri Lanka. It's one and only Bhutan. It's one and only Iran. It's one and only Kuwait. It's one and only Saudi Arabia. It's one and only Burma. It's one and only Qatar. It's one and only China. It's one and only Mongolia. It's one and only Yemen. It's one and only Oman. It's one and only Uzbekistan. It's one and only Kyrgyzstan. It's one and only Brunei. It's one and only North Korea. It's one and only Singapore. It's one and only Lebanon. It's one and only Syria. It's one and only Afghanistan. It's one and only Macau. It's one and only United Arab Emirates. It's one and only Timor-Leste. It's one and only Tajikistan. It's one and only Bahrain. It's one and only Philippines. It's one and only Azerbaijan.